It's Uncle Jimbo reporting for Blackfive TV and Pajamas Media, about to see William Jefferson Blythe Clinton take the stage. It'll be the first time in my life I've ever seen a U.S. president in the flesh.
Our president who balanced a budget, remember those days? Our great 42nd president of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton.
Whoa, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the enthusiasm. Thank you for the nice signs. Thank you. Thank you for the Valentines greetings. I would like to thank those of you who came out to see our daughter recently, and she got such a nice reception here. Chelsea had a great time, and I got a long email about it and exactly what was important to the students she met and in what order. And my daughter, who, as you probably know, if you were there, is rather precise, tried to prepare me so her father would not do anything except make votes for Hillary today. If Hillary believes America ought to look like this crowd, look around, and America ought to work like this school, we should be united without regard to race or ethnicity or gender or religion or whether we're gay or straight or old or young or someplace in the middle. We should be bound together by a set of common values. The belief we had then median, the one in the middle, family income rising by $6,000 a year. In this 7 years, median income after inflation falling by $1,000. Meanwhile, healthcare costs double, college education costs explode, everything related to energy, including gasoline and food, are going up, so that people essentially have less money to buy things that cost more. Not only have we had very few jobs, but the average new job in America in this decade pays 20% less than the average job lost. So we have this economic squeeze plate, which has dramatically increased inequality in this country that's supposed to represent the middle class dream. Over 90% of the benefits of this decade have gone to the top 10%. Half of that to the top 1%, a big chunk of that to the top 1/10 of 1%, all of whom have been showered with tax cuts, while we had unmet health and education needs at home and men and women in uniform in the field abroad. And whether you agree or disagree with the conflicts that we've been involved in, and if you're like me, you disagree with one and support another. That is, I do support our attempts, and Hillary strongly supports our attempts to save the moderate Muslim democracy in Afghanistan and to continue the fight against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, the most repressive and anti-female regime in human history. But regardless, those are our citizens there. And we should have all been asked to support them. This is the first time in American history we have put people into combat on borrowed money. Meanwhile, as I said, the cost of health care has doubled, and that has weakened our economy further. People are losing their health insurance rather dramatically. Let's just try something. How many people in this audience know somebody without health insurance? Raise your hand. Look around.
You're the greatest, Bill!
Look at this. This question could not even be asked in any other wealthy country in the world. Not even asked. Because keep in mind, now the position of the UN is at least we want Iraq to hold together. So they want us to terminate the war around the world, but they're mad at us for a lot of reasons. They're mad at America because we walked away from the fight against global warming. They're mad at America because we were the only country in the world, inconceivably, to walk away from the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty at the time we were trying to get Iran and North Korea not to develop nuclear weapons. And as we walked away, when we ought to be working for a denuclearized world, we were trying to develop 2 new nuclear weapons. Now, there may be a far better salesperson than me in this audience. I don't want you to have one of what I want 2 new of. They're mad at us for walking away from the International Criminal Court against war crimes, even after our soldiers were specifically protected against political prosecution. And they're really hacked off that we spent most of the last 7 years even denying that the Geneva Convention on Human Rights, barring torture of people captured in conflict, applied to us when our own senior military personnel were begging us to honor the Geneva Convention so that our own men and women in uniform would not be tortured. But at the time, there were no provisions in American law for dealing with the education of children with disabilities and no special training programs for most teachers. So even a child with minor dyslexia couldn't be properly educated in the public school. So Hillary and her young friends completed their report. The Children's Defense Fund sent it to Congress. It became the basis of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which guaranteed an equal and appropriate public education to all of our children, and it changed the future for millions of people. That's the sort of thing she's been doing all her life. So, how do I know that? How do I know that? Because I just haven't been knowing her since yesterday. Parents with no education to be their children's first teacher to prepare them for school. There is only one person left that has a truly universal coverage plan. According to, notwithstanding what you may have seen in the advertisements, according to all the experts that examined the plans, her plan covers everybody, and the other one leaves out somewhere between 15 and 22 million people. You can say, well, I won't be one of them, but you will be indirectly. She wants to bring our soldiers home from Iraq. She wants to bring them home as fast as she can. She wants to protect the American civilians in Iraq. She wants to protect the Iraqis that stuck up for us. We have a moral obligation to let them come home with us if they want. I think we all agree with that. But she wants you to understand there are 3 reasons why we have to do it. And none of them have anything to do with rooting for Iraq to fail. I hope we're all rooting for Iraq to succeed. I want them to hold together. I want them to be a moderate, democratic country, and you should too. But we can't help them by staying there forever. So Senator McCain said the other day he disagreed with Hillary. He thought we might have to stay there 100 years. Now think about this. Think about it. He is a very fine man, but I think he's wrong about it, and she really believes he's wrong. Let's get to the bottom of the barrel here on this. America needs to send a message that goes beyond Iraq. Remember all those other issues we talked about? So if you elect her, here's her message to the world right after the election. America is back. America is back. And America is back. That means we're going to cooperate with you whenever we can and act alone only when we have to, not the other way around. That means we're going to have diplomacy with friend and foe alike whenever we can, and military force will be used only as an absolute last resort, not the other way around. If you're not careful in good times, you can think you are somebody if you're president. You forget you're just America's most fortunate hired hand. I mean, come on. Think what being president's like. Think about it. They play a song every time you walk in the room. Right? They play Hail to the Chief. After I left the White House, I was lost for 3 weeks because nobody played a song and I didn't know where I was anymore. And then the traffic congestion in Washington is horrible. But the president never waits. You just zip along in that bulletproof limo. You have no commute to work to the world's most famous and beautiful office. You live in the country's finest public housing. And your airplane is so cool they make movies about it. Now, we're all laughing, but I hope you get this last point. The time you spend as president is fleeting and poof,